Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first ever Yoni X Speaks, where Tasveer presents queer and trans voices. So without further ado, I am proud to introduce our first speaker, Sahil Kini, with his story, Analyze, Strategize, Succeed, an engineer's playbook to coming out. Sahil came to me with a percentage-wise breakdown of what his story would look like. At one point, his story was 30 minutes long and 11 pages. Luckily, it's now 13 minutes and 4 pages. He's a prolific, funny, cute writer with a can-do attitude that has taken him far, and that I'm sure will only take him farther. Please give him a round of applause.
As a 5-year-old, watching a movie, my friends would like the actress in it. And I would look at the actor. I imagined everybody thought like me. But I realized I was different. I played with dolls and I would get mocked. Being different invites ridicule. So I told myself, when I grow old, tall, and have beard, these feelings will go away. In my teens, however, this feeling of being different was even more pronounced. I still kept telling myself, it's just a phase. I embraced denial throughout undergrad, grad school, and even when I got a job. Now that I grew old and have beard, and well, tall enough to buy clothes from men's section, I should no longer have those feelings. But that wasn't the case. My parents nudged me to sign up to a matrimonial website. I met a girl and we hit it off. One day, on the phone, she said she could see herself marrying me. I abruptly disconnected the call. And I just ran out of breath. Why couldn't I just man up and do the right thing? Marry this girl, give my parents grandkids, and not bring shame to them. Tears started rolling down my eyes. And a little voice in me said, marrying a girl is committing to living a lie for your entire life. But if I were to accept my truth, my parents might disown me, my friends would cut ties, and I might get fired. I started breathing heavy and heavy until I ran out of breath. I called up a friend, sobbing, and I said to them, I'm having a panic attack. But I couldn't tell them my truth. So I just kept blabbing all these convoluted metaphors just to suggest that I'm just destroying my life. They empathized with me and gave few examples of how I have analyzed problems and solved them in the past. Talking to them gave me confidence. So I scribbled something on the whiteboard. Something that I had heard in a famous TV show called 30 Rock. Analyze, strategize, succeed. ASS. I'm going to crush this problem with my ass. I ended things with the girl, and for the very first time, or after a long time, I slept without nightmares. I started reading up on LGBTQ community, what is sexuality, what is gender identity, what is gender expression. I knew I liked men because technically I had a boyfriend during high school. But as a kid, I liked wearing women's clothing. So maybe I'm a transgender woman or non-binary and female presenting. All this information was overwhelming. So I went for a walk, listened to some Punjabi songs to clear my head. I got back to my whiteboard and jotted 2 questions. What's my sexuality and what's my gender identity? Suddenly everything just boiled down to these 2 simple questions. And I knew I could crush them with my ass. From my childhood to adolescence to adulthood, Despite of being surrounded by beautiful and smart women, I was always attracted to men. This was also corroborated by my visit to a strip club and watching adult films. So, question around my sexuality seemed to be settled. I said those magical words, I am gay. Suddenly my heart stopped and my smile just turned into fear. Because gay was used as a slur. And calling myself gay today brought all those untoward memories. So, despite I hated the taste of alcohol, I gulped the whole glass of wine. It just burned my throat, but it loosened me up enough to go to put I am gay words on a piece of paper with smiley faces around it, go to the mirror, and keep repeating it over and over again until I was no longer scared and I had a big smile. I said to myself, off to bullet point 2. Now, as a kid, I participated in every dance contest. I would pick female-led songs and wear bhagra choli. So maybe part of me wanted to be a woman. So I started researching on gender dysphoria and read heartfelt stories about transgender people. I started comparing those stories with my life. Am I in the wrong body? Do I think I want to change any aspect of my body? Do I feel more like my mom as opposed to my dad? I didn't think I was in the wrong body. Or nor did I thought that I wanted to change any aspect of my body. Well, I could always lose some weight, but that's for another story. While mulling over all this, I ran into an extremely attractive guy. And I said to myself, I wish I was with him. But hold on. So do I want to be a woman and his girlfriend? Or I wanted to be a man and his boyfriend? The answer was right in front of me. I wanted us to be boyfriends. Strike to that bullet point 2, I'm a cis man. I wanted to connect to fellow LGBTQ people, but I didn't have courage to meet large group of people. So I downloaded a dating app and swiped every man's profile. One of them said, do you want to grab a cup of coffee? I agreed. I chose a place which was an hour away from where I lived. I got there about 20 minutes early so he wouldn't know which direction I drove from. I got a stable far corner so nobody could see us. I was comfortable chatting with him on the app, but the date was a disaster. He asked me, how long have you been in Seattle? I said, it's been a while. He asked, which city in India did you grow up in? I said, you wouldn't know the name of the city. The whole 43 minutes, and yeah, I counted, were awkward and difficult. I said goodbye and I locked myself in the bathroom for 15 minutes so that he wouldn't know which car I drove. I went on a date with a guy for the first time, so I was elated. But it did uncover my paranoia because I wasn't out to anyone yet. So I needed a plan to come out so that I could crush this once again with my ass. To come out to my parents, I needed them to understand what gay meant. So I made up a gay colleague and started talking about him to my mom. I literally set up a calendar invite for Saturday 7 p.m. which said, gay story time for I, where I is mother in Marathi. During first few story times, my mom either ignored it or she just didn't understand. So I decided I need to turn the drama up. So I told her, my colleague is being discriminated against. I posed a question to her. Do you think someone should be mistreated for being gay, she responded, absolutely not. I was ecstatic because I could see my mom has at least grieved some compassion towards a gay person. When the gay story time continued, I started writing scripts to come up. So for my friends, the script had some fun anecdotes. For my extended family, I had added some examples like, do you remember me liking dolls? With my parents, I had in-depth stories, pivotal moments that talked about my struggles, my fears, and how I came about to accept that I'm gay. This script also had an FAQ section. In fact, I practiced the script in the mirror. Choreographed tears, choking, pauses. All this was to emphasize the gravity of my journey. During one of the story time, my mom asked me a question. You talk about someone being gay a lot. Are you gay? I denied it because script wouldn't work on the phone. But I realized it's time for me to come out. So I wanted to test out my script and the practice I've been doing. So I came out to my friends, using them as guinea pigs. And their reactions were happy, supportive, or they just said, you already knew. Next on the list was one of my relatives. I met them over the dinner, and while eating dessert, I segued into the script, and I came out. They stood up, hugged me, and said, you know most of our family is aware that you're gay, right? I'm shocked. How? So their response was, you have been talking about gay people incessantly. Turns out, my mom reached out to my relative to learn more about LGBTQ community. And my relative, being an amazing ally, they shared LGBTQ focused articles that were published in Indian media. One such article featured an interview of a proud mother of an openly gay son. And my mom coincidentally knew that mother. Also around the same time, India had passed sweeping laws for transgender rights. So my mom got some insight in the LGBTQ community via daily news as well. Looked like it was time for me to come out to my parents. So I planned a 21-day trip. First 10 days, I would act straight, well, as straight as I could. On the 11th day, I waited until after lunch. Because I didn't want them to guilt trip me saying, oh, you came out, now we've just lost appetite and you won't eat food. So, after lunch, I played out the whole script as I had rehearsed. And although it wasn't as melodramatic as I was envisioning, they asked myriad of questions. And it was so rewarding because every question was from that FAQ section and in the exact order I had listed them. My mother took some time to process, but eventually she came to terms that her son is gay. My parents visited me and they met my queer friends. And I saw their level of acceptance grew every single day. I'm proud of them because despite of being raised in an era of ignorance, they have evolved in their views. My family and my friends, especially my queer friends, and some of you are actually sitting here, have given me so much courage that I actually marched in the Seattle Pride Parade with my head held high, teary eyes, and dancing my heart out. Within South Asian diaspora, we have come a long way. But there's still some work to be done. So when Tasveer approached me, I thought, if my engineer's handbook can help anybody struggling with their sexuality, my goal of sharing my story will be fulfilled. I want to leave you all with just one thought today. No matter your gender, your sexuality, you can always crush it with your analyze, strategize, succeed. Thank you, everybody.